coming in with music. Welcome to the Monday Night Coaches Show with Coach Brad LaPlante. I'm Todd Robinson along with Ryan Robinson, and we'll have a special guest that we'll keep a mystery for a little bit here and coming up. But Coaches Show, we do this every Monday night live from Rio Grande Restaurant here in Hutto, and obviously a lot of folks tune in on the live stream and watch us, but we like the folks when they show up here. And if you are here watching the show, even if you're not watching the show, we do drawings throughout the show for Hutto Hippo shirts and Dave Campbell Texas football magazines with the Hutto Hippos on the cover. So Angela Bueno right over here in the white T-shirt has tickets. So if you would like a ticket for the drawings throughout the show, then grab a ticket from Angela. But the Coaches Show every Monday night sponsored by Fingerprint Ideas. We appreciate Drew Hargrove and what he does to support our program and just the school district in general. Well, first of all, it's another beautiful night for Coaches Show.
Yes, sir.
What is this, November the 9th?
I keep waiting for it to get cold.
My goodness. It's like we had that one little stretch for a few days, and now it's been like spring weather or September weather for the last few. Last Friday night was about as gorgeous as gets for playing football, doesn't it?
It is. Next 10 days are going to be good, too. So
yeah,
70s, few 80s in there.
Central Texas weather.
Weather knows we're still playing football.
That's true.
Beats the drop back home 72 to 31. That'll hit you like a ton of bricks.
Is that what it is back in Minnesota?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's a little too cold, especially when the wind's blowing.
You're right.
That's awful. Well, it was a beautiful night, Friday night. Obviously, the game didn't turn out the way we had hoped, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But I want to talk a little bore we talk about the game. I want to talk about the pregame because that was our freedom game. And obviously, we always, we do a lot of things in Hutto ISD to honor our veterans and first responders. And, our Veterans Day celebration usually comes much later than our freedom game. Normally, the freedom game is the first football game of the season. But the way things kind of worked out with COVID, season getting pushed back, whatnot, we decided it would make great sense to make our freedom game the same day as we're doing our Veterans Day celebration. Sure. So beautiful day Friday we had our big flyover that Paul Lister, one of our teachers at the high school, organizes every year with the World War II vintage planes flying over the community, and that was just fantastic. And then obviously led into a great night where we were able to honor our veterans and first responders. And I tell you, one of the things that I just love about that is, we honor those guys as they march down the track and they stop in front of that POW MIA chair that we have there in the stadium and kind of pay respect there. And then they march on down. And we didn't have as many this year, obviously, because of COVID. But they march down to the end of the track and they wait for your team to come off the field pregame. And there's just nothing that really warms my heart like watching those players go up to those first responders, firefighters, police officers, veterans, especially at the end, and shaking those guys' hands. And as a coach and leader of these young men, that's just got to be something that's pretty special to you too.
Just for me, it's good. So I know it's good for those young men. And, some of them have personal stories that their father or their grandfather is part of the military or our service personnel, even here close by to Hutto. And we've got a couple kids, Nick Clark, thinking about enlisting. Our guest last week,
Zane Bolding.
Zane Bolding. He certainly has a big plan to be part of that. And maybe down the road, some will. Do it, even though right now it's not on their mind as a junior or a sophomore. But that's always been one thing that's been unique to Hutto and what we do. I think we do it upright. And I even kind of during pregame kind of peeked over there just to see how many you would have. on the track, just because, at this time when you're talking veterans and older crowd,
right?
How many would show up. And I was pleased to see how many people there were. And, it was awesome going through the line. And then, of course, you see the fire truck.
I was about to say, did you see that?
That was awesome.
That ladder,
awesome.
red, white, and blue ladder.
So many comments about that. And then, of course, a couple people sent it to me because it was posted on social media. And, of course, knowing that we were coaching and not knowing all the things that go on during the actual event of game day, just to see that they got something out of it too. It was nice to see.
Chief Kerwood, he called me, I don't know, 6 o'clock. It was before everything had started. And he was like, "Hey, we've got the new ladder truck here." And he goes, "I know you've probably seen it when we raise that ladder and turn on the lights, red, white, and blue." He goes, "Do you mind if we do that?" Heck no, I don't mind. In fact, would love for you to do that.
That's right.
Now, question, would you climb to the top of that thing? I think it's like 90 feet or something. Would you climb up there?
Yes, but I'd be shaking at the top. It's no different than growing up on County Road 7, Sheffield, Minnesota, climbing them silos. They're 50 or 60.
I don't know. There's probably something different about it.
That's
the
smaller it gets, the less support
you get. On that ladder, and those guys.
Let's get it out to the Rios parking lot. Let's see. $10 a shot for everybody to see if they can make it up there.
That'd be a good fundraiser, wouldn't it? Brad LaPlante climbing to the top of the ladder. That would be a good fundraiser. We'll see if we can pull that off.
Now, heights never bother me, but whenever I get to the top, you're always shaking for some reason. So, I don't know.
But then you got to turn around and come back down.
Just don't look.
That's what they say, but that's part of the fun, right, is getting up to the top and then looking down.
You're right.
Yeah. Anyway, it was a great night from that respect, obviously. But game, not so much. Boy, it was a game of opportunities. I think, as we replay that game, and you've probably replayed it a number of times, not only in your head, but probably on film too. And, it's in so many ways reminded me of the Round Rock game, where it's really you take away, that Round Rock game, you take 4 plays away and Hippos win the game. This one the other night, probably the same thing. You take away a couple of plays, take away, a couple of turnovers, a couple of penalties, and it's an entirely different football game. Hippos played well, take away those few plays against a very good Vista Ridge team.
Now, 40% on third down. I think they had a .8 rushing yard average. I sent you some stats of how many guys had 8, 9, 10, 12, 17, 19 tackles on defense. And, it just I feel bad for our kids because at times we practice way better than we've played. And I do think our kids deserve more in the win column on Friday night. But you've got to understand, against 6A competition, it's hard to get a win. Yeah. Okay, those are all good teams. They're good coaches. They practice just as hard as we do. All the pieces have to fall together. I mean, if we get one more yard and have a first down down at our south end,
right.
What happens on that drive when we're within 7? 1 yard.
Yeah.
Okay, that one play, if something else happens, we block one person different, make one different read. That's the and I talk about all the time. That's the game within the game, and that's why our preparation and our practice and doing things right and showing up on time and doing all those little things have to be a habit, that they become a habit on Friday nights.
Well, and good teams like Vista Ridge, they'll make you pay for your mistakes. And 2 times we turned the ball over in the red zone, gave them very short fields to work with, and they scored touchdowns on both of them. And a final score of 27-13, those 2 touchdowns, difference in the game.
You're right. And we ended up having, I think we had 63 total plays to their 60. And a lot of times if you've got a 2-score split like that, unless there's a pick 6 or a kickoff return, there might be a difference the other way that the victor would have more plays. Our guys played so well. Of course, again, we're without a starting quarterback. We're playing with a freshman there. We've got a couple injuries, and we do have a couple ineligible kids that weren't there as well. So when you take 3, 4, 5, 6 changes in lineups and personnel and depth and changes on special team because of all those situations, it affects the team. No excuses, no doubt. We still should have won that ball game, and we're proud of the effort that our kids gave, but we've got to be better in other areas to get that win on Friday night.
Yeah, and obviously we talked a lot last week about Will Hammond making his first start as a true freshman, varsity football game, played really well against Stony Point, but certainly got a different look Friday night against the Vista Ridge team. And I will say, to his credit, he got a lot of pressure, obviously a lot more pressure than he got against Stony Point. Still stayed in there, took some hits, let the balls go right at the last second. But got to say that one scramble run where he was determined he was going to score a touchdown, and he ended up running over a kid. And I think, from what I heard, might have broken that kid's collarbone. That
it was either that player on the punt return that was muffed, and everybody dove on it.
Yeah,
so.
but yeah, a good effort by Will again in his second game as a freshman, starting at quarterback. Obviously, things might be different this Friday night. You're not going to tell any secrets, I'm sure. But I think all in all, you reflect back on that game, and other than the loss, Hippos are competing at a good level in 6A football.
Well, I mean, if you're judging us by our record compared to our effort and our play and watching us flying around on film, and, we thought, maybe 3 other balls could have been touchdown just with the angle of the break or bursting out of the break, and we had a shot on those two. So, I mean, there's a couple different plays if we cut right instead of cut left.
Yep.
Even though, yes, we got 4 yards here, I don't know who's tackling over here. Not that the tailback did wrong. Saw daylight go hit it and keep going north and south and not lateral. But, hey, again, that's those little things that come into play when you see that fun end zone film about 8:32 on a Saturday morning.
Well, and obviously we have a different perspective because we're looking at it from up high calling the game. And you're right. There were a couple of times where we're like, why didn't he cut right? He had a lot of running room.
Kick return was another one where we could have had
but you see things differently, obviously, field level, than you do from
and the kids do too, because it's there. I mean, it's easy to see the bird's eye compared to that kid right there and see the closing down on them. And, again, we're still talking sophomores. A lot of sophomores are first-time starters. But, those sayings need to be pushed out the window. We're veterans now.
Well,
we're veterans now. Yes, we're sophomores, but they've had game exposure. They've shown it in practice. Win 2 out of these next 3, and us playing our best ball. I mean, there's phases of the game that we're getting better every single week, and mistakes here and there are less and less. Now, there might be a challenge here or there personnel-wise by some other outside situations, but when we put it all together, okay, and we need to. We got to get in the next 2 out of 3. Okay, watch out. Hippos will be ready.
Well, I think, and we'll talk defense here in a little bit because we're going to be talking to Brody, but you had an all-state quarterback on the other side of the field, right, and Brown. Picked him off 3 times.
Right.
And I think coming into the game, he'd thrown 3 for the whole season, and so we doubled his interception. And a couple of those were really good interceptions. Brody obviously had one of them, and
Theo another one. Well,
Theo had
Theo's
2. Yeah,
right?
had
he
2.
Had 2.
And so, I mean, I know offense is having some struggles at times, but boy, defense is keeping you in games.
Right. Well, and we're not helping ourselves sometimes flip the field, and that's been probably 4 games where a different punt or, hey, let's pin them down inside the 10, and we're at the 22. That play selection, even with a good veteran offense and a good OC over there, changes the entire complexity of it. And let's talk about we're talking about 15 to 17-year-old kids where, all right, let's pin them down there, and they have expectations too. They know where that ball's supposed to go, and maybe it doesn't go exactly where we feel or think. That changes their temperament, because if that ball's at the 7, we're going to play a little faster, a little more physical there. Plus, they have 93 yards to score on our defense.
Right.
Who's playing very well right now.
You'll take your chances on that.
Yes, sir.
The okay, 2 plays that you have to explain to us. Both involved kicks. Our extra point that we their extra point. Their extra point. Wait.
No, they were both field goals.
Both
our
of them field goals.
Our field goal.
The one that they called running into the kicker that we thought was deflected.
Right.
It was deflected.
Because he called tip.
And the umpire in the middle of the field did show his hands and said that, and they conferred it, but somebody else hit the kicker, and hit him in the head.
Okay. And then on the other end, when
I wasn't even listening at that point. All I was screaming. It was the same thing that happened down there, and we got the call.
Yeah.
They didn't give us an explanation on that one with our own.
I didn't get it. I mean,
we were almost busy today in the athletic office, so I didn't get a chance to call a couple of officiating buddies to show them those two plays and download that film and send it to them and say, all right, tell me what the call should be here.
Especially the one on us, right, where they blocked the field goal.
They clearly blocked it.
I mean, blocked it as clear as day, and then they call roughing the kicker.
Well, especially when it's bang,
obviously
bang.
That helped
if it's
us,
3 seconds after, maybe. But
that was just a very strange one that we couldn't explain. But we knew you were trying to get an answer.
Well, and it's fast and furious, and their job is not to slow down the tempo of the game. And of course, we all hate that if officials I've got to go over here and explain this and explain that. But I'd like to get a better one on that. So.
Yeah, on both of those plays. All right, let's draw a number real quick. Angela Bueno, draw us a number, and we'll do whoever wins the first one gets their choice of T-shirts: a large, a medium, and a large. You got some more people that have come in that might want to get tickets too. 76. Number 76. 76.
Chances
Terry
are pretty
Doggett.
good for that table over there.
Terry, you want a T-shirt or you want a you probably have all these T-shirts. Or
I don't think she has that one.
Get them all. There you go. Okay. Congratulations, Terry. Okay. All right. So after Friday night, Hippos 3-3 on the season, 2-2 in district play. But you alluded to it, you got 3 games to play. You got Vandergrift this Friday night, which obviously going to be tough. Vandergrift's really separated themselves from everybody, but they're beatable. And then you got Westwood and Cedar Ridge. And I think if my math is right and looking at everything, Hippos still control their own playoff destiny,
yes,
right?
sir.
I mean, even if you stub your toe against Vandergrift, I think if you beat Westwood and Cedar Ridge, barring some other crazy unexpected thing, then you're still able to get into the playoffs, correct?
That's what we're going with.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what's the overall attitude of the players? You've had, a couple of like that loss, pretty frustrating loss the other night, frustrating loss against Round Rock, mixed in a win against Stony Point along the way. But what's the overall attitude of the guys right now?
Okay, so one thing I'll say about this team is when situations have happened, they don't dwell on it. Okay, I really love how, it might even be during the game. If there happens to be a penalty, if there happens to be a fumble, whatever it is, a long run against us, they don't carry that with them. So play the next play. It just goes along with some of our culture. The event happened. How are you going to respond? And what's the outcome going to be? Is it going to be positive or negative? So by the time we got back in, from cleaning up the field and, talking to a little bit of the press and make sure stats are right and we're getting laundry going there within 15 minutes of the game, I think it set in that, hey, we really had a shot to beat that 5-1 team. Mm-hmm. We're good enough. Things didn't bounce our way. We should have made a couple more plays. And I think they had their mind set right there that they were going to come back to work on Saturday, and that molded right in.
For folks watching the live stream right now, because I know, not everybody sees the updated schedules. They kind of hold on to some old ones. So Vandergrift this Friday.
Right, so this week,
which was
the week
supposed
of the
to be
13th,
a bye.
You're right, was originally bye, so we moved Vandergrift up, we moved Cedar Ridge up, and then when we lost the Westwood game, we put that at the back end of the schedule. So that one's now going to be the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Friday the 27th, is it? At 2 o'clock that Friday at Kelly Reed's. We were originally to play them at Dragon, but the location, date, and time have all changed.
So Vandergrift on the road this Friday night.
Cedar Ridge.
Cedar Ridge
at home the following Friday, and then finish off with Westwood at Kelly Reeves. 2 o'clock on Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and then
shopping should be done.
That's
Nap
right.
should be taken. Ready to go for a 2 o'clock start.
People do that shopping like at 4 o'clock in the morning.
You're doing online now.
Midnight. Yeah, we're online. Yeah. Right, Lauren? Online.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So be sure you get those things updated, because I know there can be some confusion, and we'll want some folks obviously being at the games and giving support. Well, Brody Bueno is going to join us. A sophomore. I mean, you look at him and you're like, sophomore, right? Yeah, kid is like a physical freak. Sophomore linebacker, started playing last year as a freshman with his brother, who was a senior. Obviously, Brock, who ended up getting hurt and not getting to finish out his senior year. But talk a little bit first, Brody, about your experience last year, jumping onto varsity as a freshman. And I guess the first thing I want to ask, how did it feel your very first hit on varsity? You get a penalty for unnecessary roughness because you hit a guy too hard.
Well, I don't know if it was because I hit him too hard, but I didn't think it was a penalty. I'm going to take that to my grave. I think I hit him while he was still in bounds. But they called it a flag. Coach wasn't mad at me or anything. It was a hustle play. But definitely costed us some yards.
It was a great way to start your varsity career for sure. How did it feel being as a freshman, being on varsity and being on the field at the same time with Brock, with your brother?
It was fun. The seniors accepted me real quickly. I mean, I've hung out with most of them most of my life because they've all been around Brock and been around me. And it was just fun getting to play with them instead of just watching them from the sideline like I've always done growing up.
So you're only a sophomore, so you've got 2 more years even after this one to, continue leaving a legacy, making an impact, being a leader, among some younger guys as you get to be a junior and senior. But, what are some things that you learned growing up from a big brother? Good things. We're only going to talk about the good things right now. But what are some things that Brock, having a big brother that you looked up to, I guess, I don't know, at one point you started looking down to him, but looking up to him figuratively, what are some things you learned from him that then you want to turn around and you want to be able to have guys look up to you, including you've got a younger brother and other players?
Well, the biggest thing was school first. That was always something that my dad's pushed us to, and it was always grades first. It was Brock setting the example with really being just a great student first and then an athlete. And it was all A's throughout his early career, and then getting some B's and doing that college credit early and getting his college, making it real easy later on.
Yeah, he didn't like the fact that you said he got a B, but that's okay, Brock.
It was an 89.9. They should have gave you the .1, Brock.
Yeah.
I'll go talk to him. We'll go reverse it.
Yeah. Let it go. You're in college now. It's good. Now, and you mentioned your dad. So also growing up with a dad that was a football coach, and obviously there's probably lots of football talked in your house, both from the time you were little up until even currently. But how much do you talk football with your dad versus just leave the football at the football field?
Well, I enjoy it. I love talking about football with my dad. It's something that we really connect with. So it's almost nonstop at the house. It's what do they look like on film? What kind of you want to watch film later on them? And it's really actually helped me a lot, understanding the game more and more and learning from him.
You feel bad for your mom sometimes, just being in a household of boys and nothing but football?
Oh, definitely. She's probably sick of it, but she's a great mom. She knows it.
What about just the fact that it's a family affair for you guys with having a big brother, having a dad that was a coach, having a little brother that plays, but you have cousins too, right? The Doggets, who obviously you guys have all grown up just playing together and being together all the time, and it's got to be fun to be on the field. Brock last year, now Grayson this year. You and Grayson will be on the field again together next year, but Grayson's got to hit you up with a touchdown pass at some point, right?
Well, we had an opportunity,
He's had some chances.
and I dropped it.
You're owning that one?
Yeah. It wasn't a great throw, but I got my hands on it. I should have caught it.
Well, your cousin should put it like right there, but I think he kind of wanted to make you work
Put it
for it, right?
behind me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Trying to give me a highlight or something. I don't know.
Talk about your. I think you love playing defense, don't you? You just you love hitting people.
Oh, I love both ways. I mean, I love hitting people on defense. I love the scheming on offense, the thinking, the running the ball, throwing the ball, catching the ball, whatever I have to do to get the ball.
Yeah, it's funny. You say running the ball, throwing the ball, catching the ball. So Dr. Thomas, our superintendent, I was talking to her during halftime of the game Friday night. You should watch the highlight of this. It was pretty funny. So I'm talking to her after the band was done, right? We had about a 10 or 15-minute conversation. And at the very end, I said, okay, what do the Hippos have to do to get back in this thing and win the game? And you know what she said? She goes, well, they just need to run and throw and catch. Simple as that.
That'll win you a game.
So, yeah, there you go.
Yes,
So she's she could be a great football coach because you just said the exact same thing.
Oh, yeah. I think
so when you line up in that jumbo package, whatever y'all call it, but down in short yardage situations or whatever, Ryan and I always say, well, there's probably about a 93% chance that Brody's going to keep the ball right here and going to run it. Is it even a greater percentage chance than that you're going to keep the ball and run it?
Well, we've got a lot of stuff out of that package we haven't showed. I don't want to spill anything. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag too early.
So then just say, yeah, there's about a 99% chance I'm going to keep it, even though there might not be.
I'll give it a 70-30 chance.
All right, you have a choice. You have a choice of keeping the ball and you're about to score a touchdown and you can run over a guy at the goal line for the touchdown, or from your linebacker position, there's a guy that's about to score and you can come up and just basically destroy him right before he scores. What's your choice?
It's fourth down when you're on defense, by the way.
Fourth down.
Fourth down on offense, too.
Oh. Is both an option?
Nope. You got to choose one.
Oh.
Would it change if Brock was the ball carrier on defense?
Defense. Brock or Grayson. I want my shot with Grayson, too.
Grayson does not want you hitting him. None of us want you hitting Grayson. Yeah, we don't need that to happen.
That's what college is for. Wait till you're both in college.
He wants it. He wants it, Coach. He wants it.
Easy to say when he's sitting at a table at Rio Grande Restaurant, right?
You just put on 3 pounds and
I'm predicting
chips and
you would
queso over there.
I'm predicting you'd rather hit the guy and stop him from scoring.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm cool with either, though. I love both.
So as you and again, you're a sophomore, but even as a sophomore, you got to start kind of thinking ahead, thinking what the future might look like. What if Brody Bueno right now said, "Here's my dream for when I graduate from Hutto High School." What's your dream?
I'd love to go to college, of course, play football. I'd love to. I guess Texas A&M would be my favorite college. I've just kind of grown up around it. My granddad went to Texas A&M. My grandma went to Texas A&M. She's just waiting on one of her grandkids to go to Texas A&M. So I'd love to be the one that does it and get it paid for too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, you can't get paid for it.
Get it paid for.
I was going to say, you might have just wait. NCAA investigate Texas A&M. No. So that would be your dream. Go play for the Aggies, play SEC football, and
yes,
have
sir.
you at what? I'm sure you're probably already getting some contacts from scouts. Do they start getting calls and looks as sophomores? You're
Freshmen.
getting some interest. At what point would you like to start maybe visiting some schools and checking some things out?
Well, I'm not sure about the rules or anything, but I mean, as soon as possible, I'd love to go out and visit some campuses.
Well, let's make one rule clear: you don't get paid for it. Okay.
Oh, darn it.
Yeah. No, so you want to as soon as you can start.
Oh yeah.
So say you had to pick your top 5. What schools would you want to go visit besides 4 besides A&M?
Baylor. I've always loved Baylor. TCU. Really anywhere in state, and then LSU. I've always thought the energy there is really cool, and then Maybe somewhere like a Florida, somewhere hot. I don't want to go anywhere cold.
Okay.
Not a fan of the cold.
So any scouts, any college coaches that are watching right now, if they're from cold weather, just go ahead and write your name off.
Well, I don't know about that.
Oh, okay. You might be open to it. Maybe they play indoors. So as you got 3 games left, what's your goal for the Hippos?
Well, first off, I want to beat Vandergrift. I think everybody who's played him has played him scared, and I think if anybody's got a chance to beat him, it'll be us. I think if the offense comes out and plays like we know they can, and the defense plays like we've been playing, I think we've got a real good chance to run away with one. And then I'd love to run the table all the way to state.
There you go. I like it. You can tell he comes from a coach's family, right?
Competitor. He's a champion.
He
what do you
is.
expect?
He is a competitor. I mean, we've had two weeks in a row. We've had 2 linebackers, right? Zane Bolding and Brody. And I probably would say if you had a team full of Zane Boldings and Brody Buenos, you could probably win state championship. Just if you could clone just those 2 guys, right?
I'm with you.
Yeah, absolutely you could.
So with you.
What's your as you're talking to freshmen who are looking up at you as a sophomore and seeing you're playing on varsity, what would be your advice to some of these young kids for their future in Hippo uniform on a Friday night?
Be coachable. I think the coaches want what's best for you and what's best for the team, and if you can't take the coaching, then you can't be on this team. You need to have a team mindset and learn from what your mistakes are.
Do you ever does Brody ever get upset? I mean, he seems like he is just always smiling and just the happy, chilled guy. Is he always chill at home? Yeah.
Well, if he does, you don't know it, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
We know it on the field.
Right.
Some players, when you see them on the NFL or college circuit or even high school, their body language screams.
Yeah.
Sometimes in a positive, sometimes in a negative. And the fact that you don't know that, that's a good sign. That means he can handle his composure, take it, and if he is mad or disappointed, he uses it to his advantage. He plays the next play.
Well, and I think Brody, from what I see, is that competitor, like you said, but just the love of the game, right? You just love football, don't you?
Oh yeah, grown up around it all my life. It's my favorite thing in the world, really.
Yeah. Who's better at video, you or Brock?
No, I don't know. My little brother, is that an option? He's
real
good.
Is
He's
Briggs
real good.
is Briggs the star in the family of the Madden or all the video football?
Madden, probably not, but anything else he could probably beat us in.
Yeah.
But Madden, I think I'd take Madden.
Over Brock?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Don't.
There was not a lot of agreement
Like the way I started
face.
that. Like the way I started that up. You guys have to settle that after this show.
Boy, that just made his parents proud with that answer.
All right, let's do hey, we're going to stop this real quick. Let's do another drawing, Angela.
Dad, my ticket. I want a shirt.
It's probably a UIL violation for you to win. 81. Number 81. Oh, it's going to be the Doggett family winning tonight. Bryce, you want a shirt or a magazine?
It's rigged.
Shirt or magazine?
What sizes?
I think they're both large.
Right up your alley, Mr. Doggett.
Too big for you.
I'll give it away.
Okay.
It's mediums.
Yeah. All right, game against Vandergrift this Friday night. And before we really do the scouting report on Vandergrift, we have a really fun thing that's going to happen in that game. Why don't you talk a little bit about it?
Well, probably 6 weeks ago, Coach Drew Sanders had asked me to, call him after one of our head coaches meetings. So we were talking on the phone just about 25 6A things. Just said, I got to talk to you about something I want to do sometime this year, and I think you have the same mindset and aspect and the culture of your program and what you believe in and what's good for kids and all that. And he said, what do you think about this? I've got an autistic manager that's been with me his entire career. He's a senior, and he, of course, while we're talking, he's texted me a couple of videos of his pregame and postgame speeches to the team, and it's awesome. Talk about enthusiasm right there. Champion mindset.
Yeah.
And he said, I want to do something special before the game. And I said, well, we've done that before with Maynard
Right.
A few years ago, and it was really good for everybody,
Right.
kids, adults, the fans.
Yeah.
I'm all about it. So on Friday night, Tommy's going to get to carry the ball whenever their first possession is. So it might be the kickoff that we kick off to them. Vandergrift's first time getting the ball could be the second play of the ball game. That he's going to go score. If for some reason he doesn't score, we're going to line up again until he does score. Or they may kick off to us. We may go on a 19-play methodical drive, take up the whole first quarter.
Yeah.
And they finally get the ball the second quarter, their first time. Tommy's going to get the ball and go. So we'll talk about that later on in the week with the team. But, we did send it out to the parents. And, I've already gotten a few emails. Hey, can we do anything else and get involved? And it's just great for sports. Number one, we're playing sports, and the kids are doing it, and we're so happy to have that with COVID right now. But, again, it's never just a football game. It's about everything that goes into that game and what you can encompass with it. And it's going to touch a lot of people, I have a feeling.
Yeah. Touchdown Tommy.
You go.
We'll call him Touchdown Tommy, right?
That was Tommy Kramer back in Minnesota back in the day. Touchdown Tommy.
You know where he played college ball? Rice.
That's right, he did.
Yeah. Went to high school in San Antonio.
That's right.
Touchdown Tommy will score on Vandergrift's first play. You mentioned that we've done this before, and I'll never forget, the Maynard game, I don't know, what was that, probably 4 years ago.
Or 2017,
I think so. And and that one was a little different situation because they had a player who had unfortunately had a tragic accident, killed in a car wreck, and what we did is we first snap of the game took a knee and then took the game ball, and our player that was his same number, that kid's same number, ran it up into the stands and gave it to the kid's mom. And dude, I'm like trying to do the call of the game, right, and I'm crying, like literally. My voice is cracking, all that. And that very well could happen Friday night too. I get pretty emotional when those little things happen. So,
well, maybe you want to send your sideline reporter. Mm-hmm. He probably has to practice some dancing. Rumor has it they may do the Macarena or something. I guess right afterwards. So maybe he wants to get down there with Tommy after going 74 yards or whatever it is and put on his dancing shoes with him.
Well, we will hope that his microphone works. We always struggle in those in press boxes like over at Monroe or other places where our sideline mic has a hard time coming in. But I'm sure Bryce will be right down there and get a good view of it. But yeah, I just think, like you said, sometimes it's a lot bigger than football, and it's a lot bigger. It's life, and it's. What a dream for this kid, right? I mean, this kid, and I think Brody said he's been talking not Brody, but Touchdown Tom. He's been like talking smack on social media this week.
He's good with his pre and post game speeches, and I'm telling you, he's got some passion and some fire and some enthusiasm. That's for sure. So.
Well, that'll be really neat, and I assume then after that, then you bring the ball back and you put it back at wherever the.
Well, that's what we're going to do. I don't know if they plan on doing that, but that's what we're going to do.
We're not counting that score, that's for sure. Yeah. Well, hopefully, Touchdown Tommy, you'll get his stats. We'll get his name in the stats column as well.
It's gonna be good.
That'll be fun, and I know. So their coach said they really want the fans. So any of our Hutto fans that are listening or watching on the live stream right now, when Touchdown Tommy comes onto the field, they want everybody to basically start doing the Tommy chant, right?
Knowing his awesome personality, it may take a while to get him lined up. If there's a lot of cheering going on, he's going to play it up to the crowd. So it may take a while to get him back there at tailback. So it's going to be good. It really will be.
And I believe it's their senior night, if I read that correctly. So obviously a special night for them. So we want that part of the game to be very special for them, and then the rest of the game we don't want that to be so special. You
Sir.
know, we want their memory to be of their first play.
That's right.
And not the rest of it. Well, talk a little bit about Vandegrift. Give us a scouting report on them.
Well, coming into 25-6A, you know, they were the team to beat until somebody knocked them off. And so far this year, they're the class of the league, and they're doing a great job. And they just play with relentless effort. You know, they're a Cedar Park type ball club, so we've seen this type of really well coached team, good hustle, do right guys in the right spot at the right time. And, you know, offensively, you know, their quarterback does not make big mistakes. You know, they're pretty balanced, about 56% run, maybe 44 pass, but a lot of different formations and shifts and motion that will really test our defensive communication. And got to make sure we're just lined up correctly because just technically their offensive line is probably going to be the best that we've seen as far as their steps and their hands and their eyes and being 5 for 5 and, you know, a couple good tailbacks back there that do, I guess, as you watch more film, they're probably more impressive. As far as speed, first couple looks a couple weeks back, maybe not so much, but maybe as we go, maybe a little more speed than what I originally had imagined. But they're physical. They're wide receivers. Heck, big old 80 out there. He does a good job. The quarterback spreads the ball around. You know, 3 receivers at least have, 175 yards of receptions or more. The quarterback's had about 940 yards passing so far this year. So, you know, we all have to play well, but just like we've done. So,
Right.
so we just need to, you know, stop the run and make them go the length of the field. And I think we've got a great defensive plan in and ready to go there. And then defensively, it's just going to be starting with our offensive line. How physical can we be with their 3 down, and then identifying who we're supposed to block, because they're always going to bring one or more than one. They have probably the most types of blitzes or different blitzes that we've seen. And again, I'm going to go back to Cedar Park. It's very similar to what they've done in the past. Big old inside backer, number 5, some good length on the defensive line, and just really relentless effort. They fly to the ball. They tackle well. They've got good angles and everything that you would expect. You know, a team that only has 1 loss to Cedar Park,
Right.
that they would be. You know, and of course, those are the type of games we want to be in now to test how good we are. You know, in Vista Ridge, they're undoubtedly probably going to be a playoff team.
Sure.
This team is going to be a playoff team, and so let's keep on stacking up and measuring, and this time let's make those 5 plays.
Right.
And let's let our team speed, who we're very fond of, take over at different times during the course of the game and play our best ball and put all 3 phases of our best together, and this team is certainly capable of that, but we need to do it. So this would be a great time for our guys to do it, and I know their excitement level is good, and I think Brody already said it. You know, if anybody's going to do it, why not us? Why wouldn't
Right.
this be our time to put it together? And there are so many phases that we can compliment our players on. But dang, those 5 plays. Let's
Right.
get rid of those 5
Yeah.
plays, and let's flip that, and let's gain 21 points on those 5 plays instead of giving up 21 or giving up 14 or field position. And let's create that momentum and that belief in each other, you know, mid-third quarter, and run away with it and have a fast start.
Oh, I was going to say, and the start is such a critical thing, right? I mean, it seems like
Sure.
the games that we've struggled in this year have been the ones where we started slow, got in a hole, and,
Right.
and just had a hard time fighting our way out. I mean, well, we came so close to getting out of that hole last Friday
Sir.
night, but
Yes, sir.
but couldn't quite do it, and
Right.
it just changes the game when you get into that hole early on.
Well, and a lot of that is, you know, I mean, you take a starting lineup, and if it's always us in this position right next to each other, we know what each other's capable of. But then, okay, now this week, this person got hurt, this happened. Okay, now we're not together. Now we got to find a way to get there, and you know, just simple communication and getting lined up. Where Brody's usually communicating to me, but now he's communicating to Ryan. That's a change during the course of the game. So you know, again, that's why it's not just practice. There's a reason to come prepare Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and shore it up during the course of the week. So going into it, we're ready to go, and that's, you know, again, that's what our players have been doing all year. I couldn't ask much more out of our guys this year. They're coming to work, you know, every day. Doesn't matter if it's a win or lose on that Monday or Tuesday. They're locked in, and that's our theme this week, is that we have to be locked in. And not because they're a good team, not because they're the best team right now, record-wise, in 25-6. It's for us. We want to be building towards the playoff and play our best ball and go 3 for 3, and let's get into the playoff and let's play our best ball and get those matchups, which when we get in and if we get in and do the things, it's going to be favorable for us.
Right.
So I think that's why, we could have tanked it a couple of times. I mean, there's times where, yes, maybe we lost by 14. Not a good team. They lose by 28. They lose
Sure.
by 35. So I'm not going to take that away from our guys.
Right. No, they're in it right there till the end, and feeling like that there was a chance until that last touchdown by them. But I think it'll be a great measuring stick for the Hippos to see how they do against Vandergrift. You mentioned they have one loss on the year, and that is to a phenomenal Cedar Park team. I mean, and I think 21-7 was the score of that game. So, yeah, I think anybody, and they're the only team that's even come close to Cedar Park so far. So I think anybody that's doing that is certainly really good. But I agree with you 100%. The Hippos are better than their 3-3 record shows, and I think there's a great chance this Friday night to prove that.
I think it'd be a great time to do it because, unfortunately, whether you're a 16-year-old player, 28-year-old coach, you're judged by wins and losses. And we want to be judged by more than that, and we're certainly judging our players on their effort and what they're giving to the team and brotherhood that we've created here. But the fact is we still are young, and we need to grow up right now against a fantastic ball club.
Absolutely. All right, we're about to go over our picks for the week. Before we do that, Angela, let's draw another number. Actually, draw 3 of them, and then I'll let you take these things and you can pass them out to whoever the winners are. I'm sure it's going to be the Doggets. What is it? 80, 75, 74. Here you go. I'll let you go distribute 74, 75, and 80. Well, that's just unfair.
It's me?
It's like that whole time. Brody, I think that's a violation of UIL rules. All right, let's do our picks. Boy, you and Ryan made the big move this week, and I made the big move backwards. All right, coming into this week, Ryan and I were tied 23-10. You were 22-11. Gage 17-16. We all went 3-0 in the high school picks. Ryan went 4-2 in the college. Gage went 3-3. You went 2-4, and I went 0-6 in the college picks. Yeah, that's tough. Tough week for me.
Wow.
So our standings now are Ryan is 30-12 overall. You're 27-15. I'm 26-16. Gage 23-19. All right. Our high school picks are a little tougher this week. This is a week of parity now, so we might not all be the same. All right, Ryan, since you're in the lead, you get to go first. Round Rock at Vista Ridge.
Ooh.
You have 3 seconds.
Vista Ridge.
Okay. Bradley?
I'm going Vista Ridge.
Oh, man. I was going to go Vista Ridge, but I need to make up some ground on y'all now all of a sudden since I'm
go ahead and
behind.
lose that one. Pick Round Rock. Good job. That a baby.
I'm going Round Rock.
We got another one
Gage?
on right there, Ryan.
Huh? Vista Ridge. All right. Stony Point at McNeil.
Stony.
Bradley?
Trying to think if they got the quarterback back. Haven't seen film on either of those yet.
You've played both of them.
I know. Stony Point.
Okay.
It's all about the matchup, though.
Yeah, I think I'll go Stony Point. Gage? Huh? McNeil. Brock, who would you pick in that game?
Oh, I got Stony.
You go Stony? Mm-hmm. Okay. What about Vista Ridge and Round Rock?
I got Round Rock.
You go Round Rock? Mm-hmm. Good. All right. Westwood at Cedar Ridge.
What did Westwood do last week?
I don't remember.
They got to play Vandergrift.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they lost.
Okay. Cedar Ridge.
Westwood.
Going Westwood? I think I am going to go Westwood also. Gage? Westwood? Oh, Ryan, you're on an island by yourself on that one. Who would you pick on that
That's
one?
for y'all.
I got Cedar Ridge.
You go Cedar Ridge?
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because your dad teaches there, right? Get a little
Not
loyalty.
really.
Yeah. That's why. All right, college picks. We do the college picks against the spread. worst game probably of the Saturday. Baylor at Tech, and Tech is favored by 2.5, which I have no idea how.
Makes no sense. Give me
Yeah.
the Bears.
All right.
Dude,
We're terrible.
I'm over it. I'm over it.
We're
Really?
We're ready to. We're ready for.
Hey,
I'm going guns
we're ready
up
for.
this
We're
I've
ready
week.
for
gone
Yeah,
guns
I'm
basketball
up
going
3
season.
guns
weeks
up.
in a row, and we've lost 3 weeks.
We're ready for Tech
You
basketball
get beat by
season.
40. You go against your team like that, and it's only a
Did
2-point
you
spread.
hang on? Did you see what the Red Raiders did on Saturday? We'll talk about it after the show because I want your
I watched
opinion
the Hippos
on.
all weekend.
I want your opinion on
Vandergrift all weekend.
on a coaching move that was one of the most questionable coaching moves I've ever seen in my life. All right, Baylor for me too. Bears, yeah. Brody, I guess you would go Baylor, wouldn't you?
Baylor.
Yeah, okay.
Definitely.
TCU
Def-
at West Virginia. Again, one that I don't understand. West Virginia is favored by 3.5.
West Virginia.
Okay,
Really?
West Virginia about 3.5
At West Virginia?
at West Virginia.
All right, I'll take them too.
They're different there. I'm going TCU. West Virginia. Brody.
Sorry, Landon. I got to go West
You
Virginia.
go West Virginia. All right. A&M at Tennessee. A&M's favored by 13.5.
Tennessee.
Aggies.
A&M has looked really good lately.
yeah.
Tennessee's kind of fallen off. I'm going Aggies to win that one by more than 13.5. Aggies.
Aggies,
Of
for
course.
sure.
Yeah.
That appeared to hurt when you said that answer, Ryan. Are you okay over there?
It did. It did hurt a lot. They
Bama,
looked-
Bama, who's number 1 in the nation again, Philip Boutwell, at LSU.
Tigers.
LSU getting 20. The defending national champs are getting 25 and
That's
a half
not-
points.
They got 4 players that are left.
Just saying.
Yeah, give me the Tigers.
To cover the 25 and a half?
Yep.
Okay. At Death Valley, but it's not the same.
Oh, LSU.
LSU.
Sorry,
I think,
Mr. Boutwell.
I think Alabama will just destroy them. Brody.
Bama's rolling.
Yeah, they are.
Outright.
Roll Tide.
Outright.
All right. And this is kind of a little random one, but this might be one of the best teams in Texas right now, SMU. SMU at Tulsa, but Tulsa's favored by 2.5
He's
points.
trying to get an edge on us. He did a bunch of research on. I'm about to run a random game. What? I don't
Tulsa favored by 2. SMU's ranked 16th in the state.
Okay.
I mean, in the country.
Very good.
in the country.
Just in front of Tech. Tulsa.
Okay, Brad.
SMU.
I'm going ponies. SMU.
Ooh.
Brady, would you pick that?
SMU for
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
I am going to be so far ahead after this week.
Or so far behind. You definitely
gonna be
are.
far behind.
You definitely have you're on an island on a lot of these. Well, Friday night at Monroe Stadium, which is where Vista and Vandergrift plays. We actually, in our stadium tours, when we were looking at get some ideas for the new Hippo stadium upgrades and press box and all that, Monroe was one of the places we visited. It's a nice complex over there.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
really nice. So Monroe Stadium over in Leander at 7 o'clock. Reminder, they have a clear bag policy. Their tickets, if you're looking for tickets, go to the hipponation.org/athletics, click on that ticket link, and it's right there. You have to, for visitor tickets, there's a passcode required. So click the link and be sure and enter the passcode to get your visitor tickets. Speaking of stadium, I know we had Henry and Tim Kuntz from VLK on here a couple of weeks ago talking about stadium. They're starting to give us some drawings and some renderings of what this thing, the upgrade and all that could look like. It's pretty dang exciting. I don't want to let any cats out of the bag, but I'll tell you, there's not going to be another place in Texas that looks like this.
No, I think if it holds true, and of course we've got a lot of surveying to go through it and budgetary things, but just the idea that we're going to have the possibility of something that awesome for our fans, our administration, for our visiting team, to take care of them instead of bringing them over, our current players, alumni, everybody to be, it's not gaudy, but
no, not at all.
When you go
well
from what we
budget.
have to what we have and to support, tickets with baseball and softball and, with band and soccer and just
graduation
so
in the
to
stadium.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's something that we're still going through. This week we'll figure out what our average attendance is for all the events that could possibly be hosted, because that will impact some concessions and also toiletry as well.
Right. I think one of the things that I will say is that they've done a really good job of incorporating what Hutto is all about and kind of putting it in some architectural features of this stadium. So,
yeah, this
just
isn't
say that.
a
It's gonna-
cookie-cutter press box or layout. This is something that they want our tradition and our town and our community to be showcased with this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, and again, a lot of questions still to answer, but, so far, budget-wise, all that, it's looking like it's going to be a neat place. So, all right, well, be at Monroe Stadium if you can Friday night. Watch the Hippos take on Vandergrift. Cheer for touchdown, Tommy, on Vandergrift's first play, and then cheer for the Hippos the rest of the time, and then we'll be back here next Monday night to talk about it here at the Coaches Show. And if you can't be here at Rio Grande, watch the live stream. Same, if you can't be at Monroe Stadium Friday night, watch the live stream on the same link that folks are watching right now. For Ryan Robinson, for Coach LaPlante, for Brody Bueno, Gage Bowles doing the engineering, I'm Todd Robinson. Have a great week, everybody. We'll see you Friday night.